What up, bitches? It's Brian and Matt, my boy, here again for another episode of Horror Movie Club, the show where we all agree to watch a horror movie, and I always provide a link to the movie in the description, which you can always watch for free. Hold on, I have to shut myself up for a second. Okay. Yeah, no, I I always have the YouTube video window open, and I start to hear my voice echo. So I am better prepared than usual, but I'm not completely. Anyway, back to my central point. We all agree to watch a horror movie, and then we come on the stream and talk about it, bitch about it, pick it apart, praise it, whatever. And I always provide a link in the description so that you in the audience can watch the movie that we're talking about either before and join us in the discussion, or afterwards if you're like, oh man, that sounds like my kind of movie. So the links are always free. That's to say, we make a point to not pick movies that are behind a paywall. So you don't need Netflix. You don't need Amazon Prime. You don't need any of a billion streaming channels. I mean, geez, you can't even keep track of those anymore.
Right.
For me, it's mostly just what I think Netflix for like the TV series and Castlevania and that sort of a thing, and Shudder for Joe Bob Briggs.
I gotta get Shudder, man, for Creepshow.
Actually, last episode I saw that was really good.
I've been hearing good things about it.
It's good. Well, it's made by Greg Nicotero. It's made by people who really actually have a love for the stuff. There was the last episode of the second season was offensively bad.
Oh wow.
It's by Dana Gould, who's like a real douchebag. And they had him walking around in a horror movie, which was Horror Express, one of my favorite movies. But it very clearly was, well, what's public domain?
Oh, I see.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Faking the funk. Don't fake the funk. And that one was faking the funk big time. So fuck that guy. But anyway, there was a really great episode written by Paul Dini, who is very famous for creating the character Harley Quinn in the Batman animated series, wrote all like the Batman video games, the Arkham series. Wrote a excellent story that involves involves paintings by a Japanese artist who actually lived and produced some of the creepiest shit that you've ever seen.
Him on Batman and Batman, and I think he did some of the newer like Marvel TV cartoons for Disney before it got like super uber woke. And they're on some of them pretty fun. Like
he was working on Animaniacs actually originally.
Oh wow!
And and then he found out that they were doing Batman, and he was like,
"That's probably him and Bruce Timm probably because
they're the Team Supreme."
Yeah,
absolutely, and he's written countless Batman comics too. Great ones. I'm not even going to start naming them off.
Right.
Go on forever. Anyway, really quickly, the week in horror. Have you seen Halloween Kills?
Not yet, man. I've been hearing interesting things about it, though, man. I really want to watch it. Have you seen it?
Yes.
So, what did you think?
It's a very mixed bag.
Mm-hmm.
I think, there are parts of it that I think are just like intentionally funny, like when Michael Myers comes out of the burning house. This is not a spoiler. He just goes John Wick on these firemen.
That's what I heard. That was the interesting thing that I heard, and I thought that sounded kind of fun for me personally. I know it's completely out of character, but it was something different. I wouldn't mind taking a look at that.
Well, maybe I mean, I was thinking, maybe he's just a little extra pissed,
right?
Because bitch tried to burn him,
right?
It's like Tasmanian Devil when he got buried alive by Bugs Bunny. And then like he taps Bugs Bunny on the shoulder and says, "Why for you bury me in the cold, cold ground?" It's like,
oh shit,
cold shit.
You gotta unleash the beast, right?
Yeah, exactly. He's like, now I'm pissed, right? I think it's where it lacks. It is preachy, a little ham-fisted. When you clearly see the idea of the evil of the shape, that's what I always called him. That's what he was originally called, was the shape.
Right.
The idea of evil contaminating everything around it, right? Because the people are all terrified and they form like a lynch mob, and that never ends well.
Right.
Because they're not necessarily going to get the person that's responsible. They're just going to find somebody and be like, "Oh, you'll do."
Yeah.
Which is what happens.
Always.
It's at the same time, as ham-fisted as it is, because then there's Charles Cyphers is in it. There's a bunch of people from like the previous movies they're in this one, and returning characters played by different actors and all that stuff. There's a deep fake Donald Pleasance.
Oh, what?
Yes,
that's kind of cringe.
No. You would think, right? That it would be like deep fake Peter Cushing and Rogue One. No. It's done perfectly.
Really?
Yes.
Well, hey, Carpenter's writing part of it, right? I know he's producing it, so.
Just the soundtrack, just the music.
Because he's promoting the fuck out of it, like on Instagram. Because I love Carpenter. He's one of my favorite artists on different levels, and I love how he's touring.
My childhood hero.
Yeah, he was one of mine for sure. Him and Kurt Russell, and I guess they already got the third one in the bag, like because this one was done a year ago, and they just wanted to wait till COVID came out and was done. And so I guess it's doing really good. But when I heard that he went
amazing.
I heard when he went full fucking John Wick basically, or kind of like because they did that with Jason in the remake. He took out like 4 of them, like right in the intro with the Marcus Nispel remake. I fucking like, that's my favorite one. That's my favorite one. Well, he's more Rambo-esque in this one, more Last Blood-esque, like very similar. It's almost like Rambo was watching and Last Blood, he was watching the remake of that.
Okay.
But that's like, for me, I thought that was pretty cool, and I'm always down to see little tweaks with these characters. Nothing too crazy, Like for me, it doesn't sound far-fetched. It's almost underfetched if like he wouldn't come into contact with a group of people at some point.
Yes.
You know what I mean? After all these movies, he's picking them off, so.
Right. But the problem that a lot of people have is, like I said, it can be very ham-fisted. The idea of evil contaminating effect on the people and the town surrounding it and infecting it is interesting. But then you don't need a character going, "He's turning us all into monsters." It's like, yeah, we got that.
Yeah, that line's kind of cringe a little.
Really cringe, and there is a lot of cringe. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of cringe in Halloween Kills. At the same time, I don't understand a lot of the anger that it's provoking, because, like, what part of Halloween 12 do people not understand? This is Halloween 12.
Yeah.
Okay. You've gone
is it
back to the well about 20 times.
Is it 3? Is it 3? No. It's kind of 3 though, right?
Well,
kind of sort of.
No, I mean, what do you mean?
I know what you're saying.
Because they keep resetting the
They're like,
they keep resetting the, which I love that they can do.
There's a multiverse.
The multiverse.
There is, dude. You got the first Carpenter verse, then you have like everything that came after it, then you got the zombie
1
verse.
and 2, 4 and 5, and then 6, and
the zombie verse. Rob Zombie has a zombie.
There's the Rob Zombie ones, which I refuse to watch, even though people tell me that I should at least give them a chance.
Watch them as horror movies. Don't watch them as, just watch them as horror movies or slasher movies that are fucking long. and the second one, you know how Batman Returns, like it was a Tim Burton movie. After that point, you take the gloves off. Yeah. That's what Halloween 2 is. You're gonna be like, what the fuck is this? Like Halloween 2, the second one he did, That was like the most different you've ever seen of Michael Myers. I don't know. I kind of like seeing Sabretooth in there playing him though. That was pretty fun. But
what's that guy? Tyler
Mane? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, I'm like, but so including all of the film versions, this is Halloween 12 we're talking about here. And another thing I wasn't really crazy about, the thing is I watched it with a friend of mine.
Yeah.
We were a little inebriated. I'll admit. I need to give that movie another watch because we hadn't seen each other in a while. We're all bullshitting during.
Dude, that's the point, bro. That's what you go to see a Halloween movie for. You know what I mean?
Right. Bitch, don't open that door. I have to give it another look. But first impressions, it's not great. It has great moments. I would say it's probably worth seeing. What I didn't get was all of the Easter eggs and bringing back the actors that were playing, that were like, kids from the original, and then bringing in like Anthony Michael Hall plays the boy that Laurie Strode was babysitting that night.
Let's say it was his babysitting. Crazy. That's cool.
And he's great. He's very good in that.
He's a good actor.
He's like genuinely terrific, and he's like the leader of the lynch mob.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, because he's been waiting for this night.
He wants that motherfucker, huh?
He wants that motherfucker.
Okay,
and and understandably.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but then it leads to like ugly shit, and but anyway, don't understand the praise, don't understand the hate either. Right.
That's how the new Batman 12, is.
Yeah. What part of Halloween 12 do you not understand?
Right. Well, damn, dude. I gotta check it out.
It's not worth getting upset over.
I want to see it real bad, man. Real bad.
It is historic, however. It is historic because of its release. For years, independent filmmakers have been releasing movies in theaters and on demand at the same time, on the same day, right? The idea being that if it's a like a little indie movie or a little art film or something like that, if you want to see it, or if I wanted to see it, I would have to go drive all the way into the city, right, just to see a movie. Well, now I could just go to the Alamo, Yonkers, so that's cool. But most people don't live necessarily near a major city. There are college towns that have art house theaters, at least they used to. So the movies get very limited releases. In other words, it's playing in like 6 theaters, right? And like, so you could, it's like, oh, well, you're not near any of these theaters. Okay, well, next best thing, you can pay $5,
right,
and stream it. Okay, cool.
Peacock.
Well, that's the thing, that's what they did with this, because it'd been sitting. It was supposed to really be released last Halloween, but then the Rona happened.
Yeah,
and I guess they couldn't sit on it any longer, so they did the simultaneous streaming and big screen release. And I think they made like something like $50 million in one day.
Fuck around. That's big.
Yeah.
For any horror movie whatsoever, And the last one made a gang of money too, right?
Yeah, it did. But that was also really good. I like the last one.
That was
except
good.
For like the Loomis character, the Loomis-ish character, I thought didn't work great. Otherwise, I loved it. Another thing that's great about Halloween Kills is it brings back something that was in the first movie, where you could tell the filmmakers were like, oh, that worked really good. We need to do more of that. And that is showing Michael Myers without his mask, and yet still not really showing his face.
Right. Yeah. Just the back of his head, and then those weird like angles where it's just like the ear and the
right. Or you could see it, or in some cases you could see his face, but you can't see his face.
Right.
Right. It's like almost like an optical illusion and the editing and everything.
Yeah, all the filters.
So it's like you pull the mask off him and he's still faceless. Right?
Yeah,
the whole
idea.
Right. The emptiness of evil.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, the notion of evil not being a quality, but being a lack of qualities, like a lack of compassion, a lack
He's
of
got to be, man. You always have to leave, I think, with Myers that that question of, is he supernatural or is he, just a deranged psychopath,
And this movie answers that.
Damn it.
Definitively.
Damn it. But
I've always had my own opinion.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, like, I'm sorry, after fucking Loomis puts like what 638 rounds into
he
him,
like
point
he went
blank
like
range.
Hot Shots Part 2 on that fool. Yeah.
Sure. And then in 2 he gets shot in both eyes.
Yeah.
And he's still moving.
Yeah.
Then he gets blown up and set on fire, and he's still moving. Yeah. You don't need a bigger gun. You need a fucking exorcist.
Yeah, right.
That's what I'm saying.
Is he fucking Rasputin or what? What is he?
Yeah, right. Oh man, he was a die-harder. Oh man, Rasputin.
I always consider him as like a demon for sure. That's what I always thought. Or demon
I always
possessed
thought too, but I also love that it's ambiguous.
Yeah, you got to leave it like that. I think a lot of things are like that's how you make things timeless. I think certain characters, when you don't answer exactly definitively what they are. Kind of like the Shadow, for instance,
right.
Like when you keep him like that, for me, I always thought the Shadow was pure, like he's vengeance, like a spirit of vengeance, basically, that can basically infect people. You know what I mean? Throughout time, you don't really know who he is.
Right. Well, he's Lamont Cranston, but who is Lamont Cranston?
Or is he Kent Allard? So there's two different ones,
Right. Yeah. So, people created different origins for him, and Howard Chaykin had him like coming from like Shangri-La.
Yeah.
But and we do need more. We do need a real Shadow movie.
Oh, dude,
it's criminally underutilized character. But anyway, have you seen any horror movies this week that you would recommend or not recommend?
The only thing I could recommend would be the same thing, but that Solomon Kane book I read. I actually started reading some of the chapters in it. The Right Hand of Doom, and I think the skulls are stars, or the skulls in the sky, or something like that.
Skulls in the skulls in the stars, the stars in the skulls.
Yeah. I love it, man.
Are you enjoying that shit or what?
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's just like if I want to get like sneak one in real quick and just read a little, because I got a stack of like Comicsgate books I want to read, but I haven't had the time to get around to them because I'm doing that and work and kids, and I'm working on Butch Cleaver, and those are just fun little quick little yarns, you know what I mean? And I love the way that Robert E. Howard basically, in the first story, you know what I mean? I don't want to spoil it, but there's basically like an entity in the way that he words it, and the way that Howard explains this evil spirit in the story and how it got there. It kind of reminded me of Ghost Hunters, of what they talk about and why places are haunted, and he was already tapping into that back at the turn of the century, which I thought was really, really awesome. And then it's just, they're really fun, plot-driven stories,
Well, they're pulp stories.
Mm-hmm.
They're there to entertain you.
Yeah, that's it.
The whole point of the pulps was you get an issue of weird tales. The reason why there's a lot of hot chicks in the Conan stories was because they were thinking about the covers,
right?
Because they found if you put a scantily clad woman on the cover, surprise, it would sell more.
Yeah,
right.
And Conan, he was just like, women just liked him, kind of like our Captain Kronos.
Oh, dude, yeah, it was an alpha Chad. and speaking of alpha Chad, tonight we are talking about Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter, which is a very, very special favorite of mine. I first saw it when I was a kid on TV, and it just enchanted me. And I videotaped it, and I watched it over and over and over and over. It became one of those movies like Night of the Living Dead or Mad Max or Escape from New York, where I could just sit and just watch Assault on Precinct 13, where I could just watch it over and just not get sick of it, And it came out at a very interesting time for Hammer Studios. Hammer Studios was at a crossroads because you had modern horror films coming out that were kind of putting the gothic horror of Hammer a little bit out of style. And they had the origin of this, of Captain Kronos, is that Brian Clemens, who was the writer on The Avengers, which is a classic 1960s British TV series about two spies who basically hunt down and kill or arrest people who have murdered other spies. Right. Although you don't really care about any of that. It's all about Steed and Mrs. Peel when Diana Rigg was on that. And I remember, and Patrick Macnee, of course, as Steed, who's a bit of a dandy and also a complete and total badass. But I remember like going through the TV guide and when I was a little kid and seeing The Avengers, I'm like, you know what was going through my head, right? and so I race to the TV, I turn it on, I'm like, what's this shit? I don't see Iron Man, I don't see Captain America. Where the fuck is Thor?
Right? They're fucking with weather over here.
Yeah. But I watched it anyway, I fell in love with it. So anyway, Brian Clemens became sort of hot at that point in the British film industry. He's sitting in the Hammer Studios commissary, cafeteria. Yeah. And is talking with somebody. And he says, like, Hammer, man, what are they going to do? What are they going to do next, right? They've done Dracula. They've done, Frankenstein. They did a werewolf movie. What's going to be next? Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde? Sitting behind him was Anthony Hines, one of the heads of the studio, and and he turns around. He's like, "That's a great idea. Would you be willing to write that?" And Clemens was like, "Yeah, yes,
okay."
And he ended up making a deal, a 2-picture deal, and the deal involved him directing one of the films, and that was this Captain Kronos, Vampire Hunter.
Damn, you got the Blu-ray and all, man.
Oh, dude. Shit. Look, I got the Blu-ray, son. Foreign Blu-ray. Right? See that M for mature? Mature themes. Meanwhile, you'd be perfectly fine with like a kid watching this, right? But
almost, yeah.
And I got the DVD when that came out, because this is one of those movies like Mad Max, Escape from New York, etc., where like I own it in like every format. Also have the novel.
Oh wow!
By Guy Adams. It's got this cheesy cover that makes it look like a romance novel.
Does that predate the movie or
no?
Oh, okay.
This was actually fairly recent, because Hammer is back. It's not the Hammer that we knew and loved, but Hammer is active.
They're putting some stuff out. Right?
Well, 2011 is when this when this came out. I found it on I think eBay or something like that, and it's actually an entertaining read. I mean, I'm not really about novelizations of movies. Right. It's kind of, putting the cart before the horse. It's kind of an ass backwards way of doing things. But if you're a Captain Kronos fan, I do recommend this, because it also goes a little bit more into his history. Ooh, nice. Makes him actually even a little more idiosyncratic, if you can imagine that. Like in this, he actually sleeps in a coffin.
Oh, wow. Crazy, huh?
Because he's just like, he wants to know the enemy.
Yeah, he wants to immerse himself in everything vampire.
Yes. I also own the complete set of lobby cards.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's a really good one right there. Our man, Horst Jansen, ready to throw down.
Is he Norwegian or something like that, or Scandinavian?
German.
German? Oh, okay.
Yeah. And oh wait, this one's got a spoiler. I can't show that one. But they're all over the have them spread all over the house. And unfortunately, there's not a single one of these lobby cards that has Carolyn Monroe.
Oh man,
what are you thinking, you idiots? You can see it like it's numbered right down there and everything.
Crazy, huh?
So yeah, I am. It's safe to say
what about,
I am a Captain Kronos fiend.
What about comics? Did they ever make comics of it?
Oh yes, and I have them. I just don't have them handy.
Did
which
they
is
like?
Why
Were they sequels, or were they just on the movie, or were they prequels, or both, or what were they?
Both. The very first one was in the Hammer Horror magazine.
Ooh, nice.
Because
he's such a cool character, man.
Clemens
really iconic.
had. Oh my God! And Clemens wanted to do this as this was going to be the first film in a franchise. This was going to be Hammer's new franchise.
Yeah, man, that's what it seemed like. Like damn.
Yeah. And Kronos wasn't just going to be fighting vampires; he was also going to be fighting mummies, werewolves. Basically, he was going to turn him into pot smoking, meditating
Solomon Kane.
Solomon Kane. Yeah.
That'd be a sweet crossover, man. If they like. Oh man, that'd be a cool.
They would not get along at all.
No, they wouldn't. That's why it would be fun. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Let me do share screen.
Enough of your whoring, Kronos.
Yeah. Exactly.
Monsters need to die.
Yeah. I don't abide fornicators.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's the thing about Solomon Kane. He's so tight-ass. He's a Puritan, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, exactly. And this was a fucking hippie, like samurai fucking, you know what I mean? Ex-military,
Exactly, because he's a German mercenary.
Yeah.
And, had fought in the Napoleonic Wars, that kind of a thing. And as he describes, he we'll get to that. Let me just you would think I would have the share screen thing down, but yeah, let's take a look at the comic books. Wait, now it's not letting me do that shit. Hold on. Your browser has blocked your screen. Click the screen icon in your address bar to allow access. Then reload that. I can't reload the page, bitch. It's God damn it. Right? Because that means going offline. God damn it. What the hell do I do here? Well, that's annoying. If anybody in the chat has any recommendations. Well, you know what? I'm using Firefox too. I probably should be wait, I can't do this. Hold on, because you gotta take a look at these comics.
I bet they look good too, because like it seems like horror comics from back in the 70s and 80s, like no matter who the fuck's drawing them, they're always fucking at the worst decent looking, if not immaculate. You know what I mean? What I've come to see. Right.
Yeah, and that's very, very much the case with these. They are the old ones are cool looking. The new ones were published by Hammer. Yeah, Hammer actually put out comic books.
That's sweet. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, and God damn it, why is this not letting me share? I may have to fucking reload this because how are we going to do this show without showing clips? I don't know. All right, I'm gonna hit the reload button, people. Deal with it if we get this.
Oh, there we go. It's gonna reload it up. Get those Captain Kronos comics. See what's
Aha! You are still on.
Yes, sir.
Oh, excellent. Cool. That makes me happy. All right.
I also like too. He had a katana, man. That was badass. Ooh, look at that.
Well, the katana is really interesting. One of his idiosyncrasies, because it's just like, where the fuck did he get a katana? That
Right.
means he was in Japan, because Japan was still totally isolationist at the time.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not like he got that off of like some guy that just went there and then came back and was like selling katanas.
Right.
Right. So that means that he's been around.
And he waves it, he wields it like a master in some ways,
Yes.
Like that's like my favorite part of the movie, probably, in the bar scene.
Oh yeah. Let's get into the movie itself.
That's a Frazetta-esque cover right there. That's pretty
very
badass.
Frazetta. And I love like these little beasties.
Yeah,
these little winged demons with the big teeth and the whiskers and the fuzz. They're actually kind of cute, I think. But yeah, it's an indication that he is all about fighting the forces of darkness, of evil. And let's see. Let's take a look at the. Oh, wait a second. I gotta show this one, because this is just. What can I say? This one's special. There we go. Because it's just a G thing, baby. That's one of the things that we have to establish. That needs to be established about Captain Kronos. He is a PIMP. He is a G to the nth degree. Look at all. I love this. This is a publicity shot. It's not from the movie. Here are all the ladies from the film. And you'll notice Horst Jansen, he's just looking at the camera. All these chicks are digging on him. And then Caroline Munro has her arms around him and is just like making eye contact, like,
daggers.
Keep your hands off, bitches.
Oh man, that's funny, dude.
and he's just a Mac. Yeah, this is a character who's just, Brian. It's a real pity that this wasn't a hit. They didn't know what to do with it. They released it, I think, into a couple of theaters. Like, it's sat on a shelf for a year. Clemens actually wrote 6, not screenplays, but 1-page synopses for like 6 movies after this one.
Damn, dude.
And he doesn't know where he's passed away since. But I remember reading an interview with him in Fangoria, and he was talking about this movie and how proud of it he was. Yeah. And the more time that went by, he was just like, yeah, that was actually, it's actually like a really good film. Same way that Dan O'Bannon, like, the more time went by, the more he liked Return of the Living Dead, which at first he wasn't very happy with. Clemens never directed another movie, and those 6 1-page synopses are probably sitting in a filing cabinet somewhere. I don't know who is in charge of his papers and all that stuff, but in my dreams, that's a holy grail.
Hammer should be fucking making those fuckers, like, make the sequels or something, fuck it, even if they suck. I'll say it, man. Like, that. This is one character. You don't have to remake it, or you can, or just make more. Like, get fucking that Dragged Across Concrete director, or the Cell Block dude. Have him fucking do it. He hasn't done that shit yet either, and he's new. He hasn't done this. He hasn't done this genre. He's done the genre, but his movies don't continue. They end like a Lovecraft book.
Right.
This is something that should be like 6 movies, or a badass TV show or something.
Franchise,
a TV show,
motherfuckers, or like a Netflix series.
Oh man, it'd be so cool.
Well, think about like The Witcher. The Witcher is a lot like this too, isn't it?
Yeah. Right.
The whole Monster Hunter thing.
That's a big ripoff of Elric.
With the hair.
The hair, and then the White Wolf, and the way he needs potions to survive, and
right. Yeah. No, yeah. You're right. Absolutely. But once again, I tend to be very forgiving about these things, because I know I steal shit all the time.
Oh yeah, everybody steals
one of the reasons writers read and watch films is because we're looking for things to steal.
Yeah.
Of course, when we steal them, we don't do it like in a plagiaristic way. We kind of just go, "Ooh, that's an idea. What if I turned that on its head?" Right?
Yeah.
Or you look for little things like this. When I found out that they were doing a Captain Kronos comic book, I was pissed because I wasn't the one that was writing it.
Oh yeah.
And I
cool,
remember
man.
as a kid, I actually, after reading about that, reading that Brian Clemens interview, I actually sat down and wrote like a couple of synopses, like where he'd be fighting an Egyptian mummy, a werewolf, golems. You could go on forever.
Oh yeah.
The idea also was that some of the films would take place in the modern day, and hence the name Captain Kronos.
Right.
Captain
The time.
And speaking of time, one of the things that is so cool and awesome and innovative about this film is that it introduces a new kind of vampire. Oh yeah, there we got that lovely title screen. Oh no, I'm jumping ahead. And
this character is pretty original. Like,
extremely.
There's been a bunch of vampire hunters and monster hunters, and this one just on a lot of levels visually is different, and he's written differently too. And it's sad that some things need to be remade because they get forgotten, and
I agree.
Not everything, but this thing, it needs it. It does need some love, dude. You know what I mean?
Every 2 years there should have been a new Captain Kronos movie. Like every 2 years there was a new James Bond movie.
Yeah, totally, man.
But unfortunately, that's not how it is. But when the film opens, and that's another thing too. That's a real shame about the fact that that Clemens never directed another movie after this. Was he had a really, really interesting way of framing shots.
Oh yeah, I know. It was really cool. Like when he was doing the sword fight on the hill, the way he kept plucking the swords out of everyone's hand, and it was landing right in front of the lens.
Shink, yeah.
Yeah, it was epic.
I love that scene.
I was looking at it, I was like, damn, that'd be fun to draw. And then there was a lot of scenes where the crucifixes or the tombstones were up in front of front of the screen, and then the whole bell with the blood dripping on it. I was just like, damn, this is shot really cool. And he was planning this out storyboard wise before he was laying it down.
And guess what? You are absolutely correct. He actually did storyboard this entire film, and it shows.
Oh yeah.
So we have these two young ladies. They're in the forest when the film opens, and one of them goes away. I forget for what reason exactly. And when she comes back, she first, this is a young lady when when the vampire appears. Notice it's daylight.
Yeah.
And at first she has a look of terror, and then, "Come to me, my love." Right? The vampire gaze. And when her friend gets back to her,
yeah,
she's an old woman.
I remember that shit as a kid. They used to freak me out, And I was watching this last night with the wife, and she's like, "Oh, I like how they do that. That's really, probably what would happen if, a vampire bit somebody, I can't remember, like, personally seeing another vampire movie where a vampire bites somebody and then they switch the actor or actress or whatnot with a different one, an older one, And I was like, that's genius, man. That was really cool and innovative, and that's fucking some OG shit,
Oh, without a doubt. And it immediately lets you know this isn't going to be a regular Hammer horror movie. And the idea to me is fascinating. This is a vampire that doesn't drink, that doesn't suck blood. It sucks time. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like sucking the youth out of other people and giving it to itself.
I think they bite on the mouth too, don't they? Don't they bite
Yes.
you on the mouth? They suck it out of your mouth, right? And that's why the blood's coming in.
Right.
Oh, I think it bit me on the mouth. That one dude.
Right. Yeah. And well, Yeah, I'm not sure about when Marcus gets bitten.
And it's
But
weird too the way the movie's just set up. You know what I mean? They really build him up before the action starts dropping. I hate to make this comparison, but I'm going to do it for whatever reason.
yeah.
It kind of reminds me of the way Zack Snyder introduces Batman in Batman v Superman. You just see him like as a shadow in the beginning of the movie. Then he has a dream. You see him get down, and then eventually towards the end of the movie, he fucking goes full out, and you just see like all the shit that he does. He slowly builds him up, or even a Rambo movie. You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't get it till the end.
Exactly. And there's even a scene where Marcus is just like, dude, what are you doing? Because Kronos is just like hanging out and smoking weed.
Yeah.
Chinese. That's what that Chinese herb is. Right. He's literally talk about a G. He's literally smoking a blunt in this, people.
He's like, it's not Chinese, it's Indian. Kush, bitch.
Yes. So yeah, and he meditates, and so we know he's been to the Far East.
Definitely.
And he basically does a lot of lounging.
Yeah.
And making love. And at one point, his friend Marcus is like, dude, what are you doing? And he's just like, there's a time to act, and there's like a time to wait. And you start to realize also what he's doing. He's conserving his energy.
Yeah.
Right? He's getting he's moving as little as possible. It's because it's all building up to when he takes action, and when he does, he's just
he's observing and
amazing.
Setting the traps and trying to figure out, and there'll probably be two more things that I'll point out if you don't, or if I don't forget or remember that how this movie is OG in a way is the fact that they talk about, well, there's different types of vampires.
Yes.
The Hunchback, he's talking about that, and we don't just hunt this one. They all die different ways. And this whole movie and this one mission is them trying to figure out what type of vampire they're hunting in this specific town, and it's going to be a different one next month,
Exactly.
So that's why homeboy just sitting there smoking. He's got the Hunchback dude, setting the traps, and it's just brooding and building.
Grost being his, who you think of as his sidekick. And he's a very unusual character too, because we're used to hunchbacked assistants being kind of, yes, master, and he's really cultivated and cultured. He's Professor Grost. He's not, so you don't even think of him so much as a hunchback at a certain point as you think of him as a dude who has a curvature of the spine.
Yeah, he's like Alfred, dude. He gets down, like he's setting traps. He's always making sure shit's on point. He's building a fucking sword, a holy sword for him. Pardon my language, but it's like he's doing all kinds of stuff.
Yes,
sidekick for sure.
Yeah, and a really terrific one. So Kronos rides into town. He finds lovely Caroline Monroe locked up in a stock. People have been pelting her with tomatoes. Why? Kronos asked her because she dared to dance on a Sunday. And Kronos knows that's some bullshit. So he cuts her loose, and she decides to come with him because, well, he's just oozing Mac ability. And and so she joins the adventure. And I like this scene here. Well, Caroline looking good. And I mean, has there ever been a woman hotter? And it's and wearing this like lovely wench dress. Yeah, here's Kronos, bathing, and reaching for a towel. You can see the scar on his side there.
Yeah.
At one point, his friend Marcus says, when he's like, dude, why aren't you doing anything? He's like, don't worry, Kronos. I know you're not a coward. I know you've got guts. I've seen them.
Yeah.
Because he's the one who sewed them together.
Right.
And that's actually one of the things. Also, one of the things that I enjoyed about this book. It goes into how he got that injury.
It talks about probably his mom and his sister a little bit too, huh?
You know what? I don't think it really does. Kronos does give us his origin story. He went off to fight a war, and he came back and found his daughter, not his daughter, his sister and his mother turned into vampires. And so he is on a quest now for symbolic revenge.
Yeah, straight up. He's like kind of like Batman in that way too, you know, like it's never going to end.
Batman, no. Absolutely not. That's what drives me crazy about like movies and comics where Batman retires.
Yeah.
I'm like, that motherfucker ain't retiring until he goes in the ground.
Yeah.
He ain't ever going to stop. And Kronos is never going to stop.
No.
And here he is enjoying a little bit of the sticky icky.
Homeboy be just chilling up in the barn all the time. It's just like
making
rolling around in the hay, doing the roll in the hay.
Yeah, with
smoking the hay.
Carolyn Monroe. Hell yeah, man! It's and and what I love too, it's like he obviously takes her along because he wants a little company.
Yeah,
and it's recreation. At the same time, he never puts the moves on her. He just kind of hangs back and lets her come to him.
Like Conan. Yeah.
Right? No. Conan would sweat chicks. Conan was sweating Valeria in Red Nails like crazy.
Yeah.
That's why Joe Vigil, God bless him, we disagree. He's like, Conan's a rapist. I'm like, no, he's not.
He's not.
No, he's not. Right? There's this, right? Because in Red Nails, he is sweating Valeria in a major way, and she's just like makes it very clear that she's not interested. He's like, okay, all right, you want a little vitamin C? It's right here, waiting for you. You change your mind.
It's just a lot of the time the chicks are like sorry to derail, but a lot of the time in the story they're they kind of like don't like him a lot of the times in the Conan books, and then because of the way he presents himself and the way he handles business, it turns them on, and they end up getting attracted to Conan. You know what I mean? Because he's a fucking man. I
know. There's been that's a thing. That's somebody who understands something about human nature. Well, female nature to be specific.
I love that shot right back there. The previous one.
Yeah,
I love the way. I mean, a lot. You could tell that they set that up with the set, like the crosses. But man, I love the way that they drew it. Like you could just see, like if you were to scan that in black and white and then go in there and try to pencil or ink it, it would look. Or imagine Bernie Wrightson doing it. It would look so cool, dude. Like when I see that, I think of what if Bernie Wrightson was doing this? Because it would just look. It would some of the shots in here. It would have been a cool like illustrated version of the movie. I think that would have been fucking bad, dude. Black and white only.
The one that's in the Hammer comic, the one that's in this, is just an adaptation of the movie.
Oh, cool.
But I think they maybe did they do some original stories? I don't know. I got this at a horror convention, at the Chiller Convention in New Jersey, which is like the biggest horror convention in the country. And
derail you one more time. Who would play Kronos now? Who would you pick if you had to?
At one point, I was thinking Sean Bean.
I know who. Well,
Thomas Kretschmann.
Sean Bean's perfect for a lot of stuff.
I would say Thomas Kretschmann. He might be a little bit old for it now, because you get the blonde hair and the blue eyes and the German accent and all that stuff, and he's a really good-looking guy, also a really good actor. I don't know. You might want to go with an unknown, possibly.
I would probably go with Brad Pitt, dude. But I don't know if he's kind of old, but then you get the sense that like Kronos is kind of old too, though, in a way. You know what I mean? But I don't really know, because he's been around. He's been like, for me, I get that sense that he's like been to like, he's been to Japan, he's been to India. You know what I mean?
China. He's been to the Far East. Yeah.
He's probably in his like early 40s, mid 40s, like, but takes care of himself like Batman again. I guess he kind of, he kind of looks like Michael Bay a little bit.
Like when I tell people my age, they're always like, "What?" People guess. I love doing that, man. That's actually an ego boost. I'm like how old do you think I am? Like, I don't know, 39, 40. I'm like, no, way up, keep going. But people in our generation just aren't aging the way that previous generations have.
Oh yeah.
This is a nice piece of art right here too. I like that.
Oh, that's tight. I always remember that. That's the one like thing I remember like for sure as a kid when I watched this was with the when he holds the sword up, with the mirror. It's badass.
Oh yeah. I got that shot right here.
And I didn't remember the ending, dude. Like when I watched it last night, it totally like it tricked me. I thought I had it all figured out. I was like, that's a cool little twist. You know what I mean? It has a nice little twist at the end and a badass swashbuckler at the end too. I like that.
They spent, I think, like a week shooting that, and it was a scene that was choreographed by Bob Anderson.
That's the OG right there. He does everything good.
Oh, you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, the fencer man. He's done like everything pretty much everything. He was like 90, like still fencing. Shown,
yeah,
and it's funny, like we don't get that much anymore in movies. We don't get sword fights, like even with like rapiers and stuff like that. I mean, you might get some stuff with Witcher where he's like going around and doing some new cool things, but like the classic stuff,
spinning. But here's the thing: people in HEMA, historical European martial arts, I have to study a martial art. It has to be something totally useless, like German longsword, right? I am trying Kung Fu and Tai Chi now, though, so I am trying some stuff that doesn't involve sharp things. But there are some HEMA people that staged a movie fight scene using nothing but authentic moves, nice. and it looks amazing.
Sweet,
right? It's just like, well, do that. You've never seen that before,
right?
But at the same time, there is no obligation by the filmmakers to make a realistic sword fight.
Yeah.
Because it's fantasy. And you always have to remember this about any film that you're watching. I don't know where people get this very, very odd, very peculiar notion that movies are meant to be an accurate representation of reality, because they're not.
It's kind of boring if it was,
Absolutely. And
yeah, I can't even think of a movie recently like where they're doing sword fights like that. Probably one of the last pirate movies with Johnny Depp. You know what I mean? Like they don't really do them anymore.
No, well, I mean,
it's cool to see it in here again.
Well, I mean, there was some good ones in Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, Game of Thrones. Forgot about that.
Some of the gore in that was freaking awesome.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool show.
Motherfuckers getting chopped in half.
I still gotta watch the last season of that. I haven't done it yet.
It's there's nothing wrong with it.
I started watching Dune last night, the new Dune.
I've heard that that's really good. I'm hearing nothing but good things about that.
I'm hearing mixed reviews about it, but I'm watching it. I don't really know Dune too much about Dune. I didn't watch the old one with directed by Twin Peaks. I'm always forgetting his name. But
David Lynch.
Yeah, and I don't know about the books really, but I was watching it. It seemed pretty interesting, the new one. I haven't,
It's getting good reviews. It's getting very good reviews, in fact. For one thing, it's not woke. We know that.
Yeah, I didn't see really anything in there.
So, I mean, because, we expect everything just to have fucking politics in it these days. That's just what we're used to. And not just politics, but identity politics. And, regardless of whether or not it belongs in there. Hold on, I gotta reload. Don't worry, Matt. I'll be right back. Next time, I promise. I'm gonna use.
Watch Captain Kronos. If you guys haven't seen it, you got to check it out. You ain't ever seen anything like it. If you're into the old Hammer films, it's a movie you got to check out.
Most definitely. Let's see, because I gotta yeah, people need to see this shit. We gotta talk about the brawl. We gotta talk about the sword fight that goes down.
And that one scene, real quick, when he's in the tavern, that's like probably my favorite scene.
That's it. That's the one.
Okay.
See, that's why I'm trying to find. Why is it not offering? Okay, hold on. There we go. All right. Well, here's Kronos. I've got to show this too. Here's Kronos chilling out, having a little sticky icky. After making some sweet love with Carolyn Monroe, and she's doing something behind him, and you have no idea what it is, right? It's she tending to some I don't know, was she scratching his back while they were doing it or something, and now she's disinfecting, and no, he says, God, I wish these pictures were in order. There's nothing like a good leeching to cool off a man's blood.
Oh yeah, that part was pretty crazy. He's like,
he's in this. I mean, this is a really, really eccentric character.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's the tavern scene, and these dudes, led by. Hold on, let me make sure I get his name right. Ian Hendry. Funny story about Ian Hendry. That's. Are
you showing the pictures right now?
Yeah.
They're not showing up.
Oh, okay, hold on. Let me see. There we go. There they are. Bunch of nasty looking droogies. And so three goons led by Ian Hendry. He's the guy in the front with the black vest. And they're seen mistreating a whore, which is what she is. But then you don't have to treat a hoe like a hoe, is what I'm saying, right? These guys are assholes.
Being a fucking asshole,
right? Ian Hendry, Brian Clemens wanted him for this role, and because it's a small one, but it's an important one, and it's a memorable one.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not laughing.
Yeah, he's like. Ugh.
However, Ian Hendry was an incorrigible drunk.
Oh wow.
So Brian Clemens is like, look, dude, and he wasn't like Oliver Reed, who would be sober on the set, and then once filming was wrapped for the day, he would go out and demolish bars. And just, be a drunken lunatic, but always sober on the set. In other words, a professional, right? Ian Hendry, obviously, a bit of an alcoholic. He's like, okay, I'm sorry. Brian Clemens is like, okay, dude, I want you for this part, but you got to be sober. You got to promise me. That you're going to be sober, at least on the set, while we're shooting. And Ian Hendry was like, absolutely, I promise. So, first day of shooting this scene, he arrives, and Ian Hendry is in the makeup chair with a pint of lager, right? Drinking at fucking 9 o'clock in the morning, no less, right? And so, right? And so Brian Clemens is understandably upset. He's just like, motherfucker, you promised me that you weren't going to drink. And Ian Hendry looks at him and, completely serious, says, this isn't drinking. This is lager.
That's what I was to say. He's probably going to say oh, this is like fucking water or something,
This isn't drinking. What, are you kidding me?
That's funny, dude.
Yeah. These three goons, they are being very goonish when a representative of these two, the Dewards, who we strongly suspect have got something to do with the vampire, and indeed they do have something to do with the vampire. I'm not going to say what it is. So they start, these goons, they start shit with Grost. They start calling him a crookback and everything like that, and making sport of him. Basically trying to provoke a fight. And well, I don't know if you'd really call it a fight. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, it's just a fucking.
This isn't a fight.
This is fucking Gene Wilder shit and fucking Blazing Saddles, dude.
Yeah, yeah. This is not. Yeah. This is he waxes their asses.
Fucking punking them, and it's like I don't know. For me, it like makes the movie, and I've seen stuff like this in other forms of multimedia, but it's just the way that it's shot, and also prior to before the whacking, the line delivery, the way he says the lines. He's like, "And you fatty, and you cocksucker." Like it's just that's the way he says it, And then it's just like,
because he's like, you bitches make the first move.
Yeah.
And I'll make the last. And so, yep, he draws on them. Or it's actually Ian Hendry, who draws first. And Kronos waxes they asses. He whips out the katana. Let me see if I can get those shots.
That's that's cool, man. Because he has two different iconic swords in the movie. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then the way that the second sword is made, not only the way it looks cool, how it functions, and also the way that he uses it at the end.
You're not laughing. Laugh. Right? Great performance.
Yeah.
And Kronos fucks they shit up. He draws the blade, splat of blood on the wall, swings it again, splat, and then and resheathes. And he's still got his fucking cup in his hand. He's still got his drink. Didn't fucking spill a drop.
Yeah, if you're not in like that right there, like will seal the movie. Like if you're not in after that, then I don't know what else is. I don't know if you're gonna like it or not. Like to me, that's fucking that right there is like what makes the character iconic. Like okay, we got something pretty fun right here.
Oh my god, so much fun, right?
Yeah.
Honest to God, if there's one movie that I wish I could go back in time, like if you could like somehow ethically steal another work of art and put your name on it, right? Or somehow be the creator of it. It would be this. It would be this for me. This is if I could have made any movie in my life, it would have been this.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. And there's Grost. Because there's this wonderful shot where the innkeeper and the barmaid, as Kronos is delivering those insults, they sink a little further and a little further and a little further, right? Until they disappear under the bar. And let's get to another one of these iconic moments. Yeah. They discover that, I'm not going to tell you how, because that'll give some of the plot away. That's kind of a spoiler. But they discover that the vampire is vulnerable, not to wooden stakes, not to fire, not to hanging. None of that shit works.
No garlic.
What does work is consecrated steel or iron. In the shape of a cross.
Yeah.
So here, what they're doing is they're taking down a big old cross with a large amount of steel to work with, and then there's some of the locals who think that he has killed somebody that was dear to them. Somebody that was like loved and respected. Oh wait, yeah, there they are. I need to see their fingertips hiding under the bar. So they go to kill Kronos, and they just happen to like stumble across him, and engaging in like a little grave robbery on top of everything, right? little grade violation.
Right.
And so they go to kill him, and then there's this great, really wonderful fight scene. And what it is especially G-like is the fact that he understands that these aren't bad guys.
Yeah.
That they're just maybe a little stupid, and they've reached conclusions that aren't true. And so he wounds them, he disarms them, and doesn't kill one of them.
He just spanks them a little bit.
He
flings
spanks
his swords
them
right in front of the fucking camera. Is badass.
Yeah, and let me see if I can find that one shot that just especially set me off as a kid. There it is. Yeah, where he half swords at one point. Half swording is when you half swording is when you take your sword and you flip it and you grab it by the blade by the flat of the blade, which you can do, especially if you're wearing gloves. Also, swords at that time weren't really that sharp. They're not as sharp. Like a cavalry saber, for instance, didn't need to be that sharp. You could still ride up behind somebody and boom, take their head right off, right? So he flips the sword and he swings and he strikes with the guard with his cavalry sword, and you see this sword go down into the ground, and then he's fighting more with them, and then there's another sword and another sword and another sword. And it's just, I don't know, all really just terrifically stylish.
And it's very stylish. All of his swordsmanship or sword, it's all a build up to the end, you know.
Yes, which I wish we could discuss. Oh, and then of course there's the bit with the toad.
Oh yeah,
right, where
got his toads.
Professor Grost is putting a dead toad into a box, because evidently if a vampire should cross by, the toad will be given life. Yeah, and there's like a little folktale, little rhyme that goes with it, which I can't remember off the top of my head. And as Kronos points out, is like, well, yeah, sometimes those folktales are actually true.
Right, everything has a beginning.
Yep. And okay, let me see. Oh yeah, this is another great moment here.
They should take all their money, Hammer, and just put it into a new fucking movie. That's what I say.
That's what I say.
Not even a TV show. Just make a badass movie. Get a good actor. You know what I mean? Good cast. The sets. You could have filmed all that shit like in a park somewhere and just build a village. Like you don't need much. One big cool house. You know, where vampires could be, or a castle or something. Maybe a bar and a little like just a little nook where the barn was. You got a cool movie, man.
Oh, without a doubt. And I always thought that this would be a great franchise. It's still to this day one of my dream projects to write a Captain Kronos comic. You never know. And because people seem to, I seem to have tricked people into thinking I'm a good writer. And
shut up, you're a great writer, bro. Can't wait for the new one.
Oh, dude, it's gonna be.
You got to show your Kronos toy, man.
Oh, I do gotta.
You teased that last time.
I
didn't gander upon it too much. It's just like.
That's
pretty badass.
Actually, yeah, it is. I got this on eBay. There's a guy who makes these, hand sculpts the heads, and then presumably just uses doll parts that you can get from like online craft stores. And here, let me bust this open. I'm gonna bust this open. Oh, he's busted wide open. Let me see. Yeah, because I had to tape this closed because it kept popping open. Wait, did I staple this closed? I think I may have stapled this closed. Well, fuck it. I'm popping them staples. Because toys are meant to be played with. And all y'all who buy toys and you won't even take them out of the box, you're cowards and assholes. No, I'm just kidding. There he is.
Yeah, it looks just like that motherfucker.
It's a really good sculpt.
Yeah, it looks just like him. That's funny, dude. He's got the sword too, man.
Yes.
That fool was like a G at the end too. He just fucking threw that shit down.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He's like
dropped that shit like a microphone. Mic. Yep. That was absolutely a mic drop.
He's like, if you're not sure that I'm a fucking G, let me show you one thing.
This is God's blade, forged for your black heart. But yeah, and he also the guy who made this also made a like a very accurate replica of the sword. Look at the hilt.
Yeah, it's badass, dude.
Yeah, I mean, so I normally don't pay $50 for a toy, but this this was something special.
Yeah, that's special, man.
Yeah,
that's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah. And also it's cool that supporting people, they're just doing crazy shit like
that. I mean, look at the face, dude. It's fucking look just like him. Special edition.
Amazing. Yeah, it's a very good sculpt. So the Captain Kronos comic, the new one that came out, it was a little woke. It had hold on a sec. Let me make sure I'm right about this.
Did you play into the I'm sure you played some of the Castlevania games growing up, right?
Oh yeah.
Would you say that they might have had somewhat of an influence on this might have influenced them a little bit?
I don't know.
Kind of reminded me of like the Belmont a little bit, dude. Like
yes.
Like Simon a little bit.
The Japanese are very, very fond of Hammer films.
Yeah.
And Vampire Hunter D, for instance, the vampire is called Count Magnus Lee after Christopher Lee. So they in fact horror has always done remarkably well in Japan. They love horror.
Oh yeah.
Let's see if I can share this.
What do you got on your shirt? You got Frankenstein throwing the Wolfman?
No. You got El Santo.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you don't know about El Santo, do you?
No.
Oh wow. Well, if we can find one of those on streaming. Talking about G's, El Santo was a Mexican professional wrestler, a luchador, who also made movies. And in the movies, he plays himself.
Oh, that's gangster.
And they're not like any movies you've ever seen. They're completely. It's a genre that is unto itself. And in fact, because like it'll open up and it's like there's El Santo and he's wrestling and Naruto is cheating and now El Santo's like not taking any more shit. And then he'll win the match, and then he'll hop in a sports car with the cape and no shirt and drive off. And next thing you know, he's fighting a bunch of vampires in a cemetery.
Oh, that's gangster.
And then he's like going out with some chick. He's kissing her with the mask on. Right?
Yeah, you have to. That's part of the culture, right? You can never take it off.
Never. Yeah. And then he'll be fighting a bunch of werewolves, and then he'll be wrestling again. Then there will be a musical number.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, they're amazing. They're amazing. Wow. And in fact, I had to tell the boys from 656 I got a little beef with the Mexicans. Because Mexico City is still called Mexico City, and it needs to be changed to Santo City. And like Lugosi was buried in his Dracula costume, this cat was buried in the mask.
Oh, that's pretty gangster. That's OG right there.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Oh, that's another show. Oh man. Oh, dude. If I can, I'm gonna see if I can find some of the Santo movies. He made about 32 of them.
What the
I'm gonna see if I can find some of those on Tubi or like some of the other streaming services.
Oh yeah, I'm down.
Oh, dude, yeah. And the thing is, I've seen all of them, so I know which ones are good.
Dope. Hell yeah.
Right? And I don't know which ones are the best ones, so I could just go, yeah, you want to check that one out first, and then that one, and the what's generally considered the best in this series, if anybody wants to go looking for it, is El Santo contra los vampiros mujer, something like that. No, it's like El Santo on the against the vampire one. That's lovely Lorena Vasquez. Oh, man. But other than that, do you have any ideas for what we could do next week?
Oh, no, I
mean,
don't.
I'm not putting you on the spot. I mean, it's all good.
I don't. I wanted to, Kronos was something that was one of those movies, that I wanted to go back and watch, because I watched it once as a kid, and yeah, I remember like the sword and everything, and it being an interesting movie, like something that was memorable. Again, my pops was like, "Hey, you gotta watch this."
And it was something that you shared with your dad.
And I will say that a lot of it was pretty rated. You know what I mean? Like, it was almost like PG-13. I mean, aside from some of the sex scenes in it and stuff, like there's no like decapitations or there's no dismemberment or nothing like that. Barely any blood.
No, it's not. It's I wouldn't rate it. I wouldn't rate it a G. I wouldn't rate it a R or PG-13. It's especially by contemporary standards with shit like Walking Dead on TV. Come on.
Yeah.
But England was always very uptight about horror films. And that's one of the things that's really funny is you'll see that the posters for a lot of these movies, it'll be like big boom X certificate.
Right? You're like,
because of course that's where they had the whole video nasties fracas, that witch hunt, which is why I envy the fuck out of all of my fellow horror lovers in the UK, because like while we felt like we were deviants watching these movies, they were actually breaking the law.
Right? Over
in
like
some cases.
Fucking cereal box shit, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like this is censored, You have any Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, no, I was saying, like, talk about forbidden fruit, right?
Yeah. It's like
we're literally breaking the law. Watching like Lucio Fulci movies and shit. Is there any filmmaker that you're interested in checking out that you've heard of where you haven't seen any of their work?
Trying to think. I can't think of any.
Harder. No,
I can't think of any. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
That's okay.
Yeah, I was. No, I can't.
If you have any ideas, hit me up. People in the chat. I don't know if we got people in the chat. I'm assuming that there's people in the chat. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is all about y'all. We love you to bits. We would like to give you our firstborn children, et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, for reals, thank you for tuning in to Horror Movie Club. And next week, we're going to do another horror movie. And if Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter strikes you as, if we haven't sold this to you like properly, we done fucked up. We done fucked up some. But if you want to see Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter, link is in the description where you can watch it for free on YouTube. Beautiful 1080p transfer.
Yeah.
And it's not going to just disappear because Hammer Studios put it up there themselves. So it's not like a piracy thing or anything.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Go check that out. All right. Any last words, Matt, before we tune out for the evening, for the week?
Well, just happy Halloween, everybody, and stay safe.
Oh, yeah. Happy Halloween, folks. And I'm sorry, I cut you off there. I can be a rude motherfucker.
No.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right, everybody. Peace and love. Peace and love. Peace and love. Stay scary and stay scared.